Hello my dear students, I am Akash from Academic English with Vibhu. Today we will study the second chapter from your book, from my first flight book, Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to the Freedom. So student, before proceeding, we will take a look about the author. You can see Long Walk to a Freedom. Long Walk to a Freedom is an autobiography written by South African President Nelson Mandela. Was the first published in 1994 by Little Brown and Company. The book profiles his early life of age, education and 27 years in prison. Under the apartheid government, Mandela was regarded as a terrorist and jailed on the infamous Robben Island. The last chapter of book describes his political ascension and his belief that the struggle still continued against apartheid in South Africa. In this picture, you can see let the freedom ring. That means Nelson Mandela was a hero of South Africa. That we can say. The story Nelson Mandela Long Walk to the Freedom has been written by Nelson Mandela. The theme of the story Nelson Mandela Long Walk to the Freedom is how apartheid destroyed South Africa. People of South Africa, especially the blacks, suffered were alienated under the apartheid rule. They were deprived of their civil rights. Mr. Mandela became South Africa's first black president after more than 3 centuries of white rule. African National Congress Party won 252 seats of the 400. Student, now we will start the chapter. This chapter is an extract from the autobiography of Nelson Mandela, the first black president of South Africa. It begins with a description of inauguration ceremony which took place on the 10th of May 1994, where the entire nation along with many international leaders embraced the victory of newly and fairly elected government. It involved a speech by a president and the deputy president followed by the impressive air show of fighter jets and helicopters. Students, long ago, in the first decade of 20th century, white supremacy introduced the system of apartheid and made life of living hell for the dark-skinned people. It gave rise to two of the most inhuman societies of the world. Then Nelson Mandela expressed his desire to thank all those freedom fighters. He referred to the citizen as the great asset of the country. He also mentioned in his speech that two responsibilities every human has and in how in order to fulfill his obligation towards his society and his family. It was first time in the history. On that day, it was first time when two national anthems on the black and other of the white were sung symbolizing equality and respect for the entire community. In the final decade of 20th century, the system of apartheid has been changed. Now all humans are equal regardless of their color, race and gender. Mandela's hunger for freedom changed his life. He built his entire life around fighting for the basic fundamental right. So student, this was the explanation for the day. While you leave, I am leaving the speech for you of Nelson Mandela and I hope you will learn a lot from this. Keep your watch till then and watch more and more with our channel. Thank you so much.
The first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself. And one of the most important weapons in changing yourself is to recognize that people everywhere in the world want peace.
If in these later years of a life lived in pursuit of equality,
we can at last look upon our own country as one in which citizens, regardless of race, gender or creed, share equal political rights and opportunities for development. We do so with great gratitude towards the millions upon millions all around the world who materially and morally supported our struggle for freedom and justice. I was in the company of great men indeed. Some of them more qualified, more talented than I am. And to sit down with them, to exchange views, was one of the most revealing experiences I had. To sit down with those men and to exchange views, it enriched your own life. It fortified your morality. It gave you courage to do better than your best. One of the mistakes which some political analysts make is to think that their enemies should be our enemies. Anybody who changes his principles depending on whom he is dealing, that is not a man who can lead a nation. You have a limited time to stay on earth. You must try and use that period for the purpose of transforming your country into what you desire it to be: a democratic, non-racial, non-sexist country. Humility is one of the most important qualities which you must have, because if you are humble, if you make people realize that you are no threat to them, then people will embrace you. They will